There is financial help for farmers impacted by Hurricanes Gustav and Ike. However, the deadline to apply for the loans through the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry is fast approaching. For more, we turn to This Week in Louisiana Agriculture's Avery Davidson with our in-studio guests. Avery?
Thanks, Mike. August 21st at 5 p.m. is the deadline for all applications for the recovery money to be turned in. If you don't have it in by then, you're in a lot of trouble. Joining me now to talk more about this is Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, Dr. Mike Strain.
Good morning, Avery. How are you?
Doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Strain. And also Paul Rainwater, the Executive Director of the Louisiana Recovery Authority. Man, I don't think we've had this much power sitting at this desk in quite some time.
That's why we got to get a lot done.
Well, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Strain. You know, so far it seems like a lot of folks have not turned in their applications in as timely a fashion as I would like.
We have about 400 applications. We're getting in about 50 a day. We urge everyone to fill out your applications and send them in. And make sure when you fill it out that you fill out everything in the application. Don't leave it blank. Get all the necessary forms. Because our goal is to try to get this money out as quickly as possible, but we have to have all the applications in. And so, then again, the deadline, it is specific. It's August 21st at 5 o'clock. And if you have any questions, give us a call. Call us in Baton Rouge at 922-1277. That's area code 225, or at 866-295-0081. If you have a question, call. Fill out the application and get it in.
Now, I'm wondering if one of the reasons folks might be a little slow in turning in these applications is because it's a loan. It's an 80-20 loan and not a grant. Now, you've explained this to me before, but you know, why is it not a grant?
Because this is crafted in such a way as to not interfere in any way with the farm programs. It will not interfere with the SURE program. And you know, I've talked with Secretary Vilsack, the United States Secretary of Agriculture, and we're being assured that those dollars will be flowing soon, and both the transitional dollars for the disaster and the disaster assistance dollars. So this is something that we're trying to do in the in-between, in the immediacy, to make sure that there's enough cash out there for land to remain in production. We lost $1 billion in assets. We're 135,000 acres down in production this year. And a lot of that is because of that and a lack of capital. This is what we could do to get that capital in. And we're using federal money from a housing and urban development, community development block grant. And this is crafted in such a way, because you can only do it in such a way as to not interfere with the regular farm programs.
And you brought up that HUD money. I know that Mr. Rainwater, you were instrumental in getting that HUD money. I know under the previous administration and the handling of Katrina, the LRA kind of got a little bit of a black eye there, but you went forward with this and made sure that the same thing was not going to happen for Gustav and Ike.
Well, Avery, we made some philosophical decisions early on. The governor had deployed me down to New Orleans and then over to the southwest part of the state for Ike, and then we'd moved all around the state looking at damages and issues. But our philosophical difference was we were going to decentralize dollars, and we weren't going to let them sit at the state office building in Baton Rouge where the Louisiana Recovery Authority set. So we worked with the Ag Commissioner, which he understands the needs of the farmers and ranchers in Louisiana. And I told the Ag Commissioner, we're going to take your lead on this. You know, he and I were up in D.C. for about 2 weeks together working through these issues. Basically, the governor said, Paul, you're like the Ag Commissioner's staff person. So we set up shop in Senator Landrieu's office, actually, and worked at like a little command center. But we made a decision early on that we're going to push these dollars out of our agency and put them where they needed to be. And obviously the farmers and ranchers in Louisiana are so important to our economy. No different than what we did with cold storage, which was a very creative way to take some Gustav money, some Katrina money, make sure we kept cold storage here in the state of Louisiana to help the chicken ranchers and farmers up in Louisiana to keep them whole. And so, I mean, we just recognized early on that, you know, farming, fishermen, all are important to our economy, and we're going to get dollars out quickly. So just a very philosophical change very quickly early on in the program. And so I think, to be very honest with you, it was the right move.
And how tough was it for you and Governor Jindal to get the feds to agree to use housing and urban development money for something that's very rural?
Well, there's a provision in the community development block grant world called economic revitalization. And the Ag Commissioner was able to put together some really good facts and make some really great arguments to the delegation and other folks. And we went to the Secretary of HUD and others and said, look, the fact is agriculture is just an unbelievable part of our economy. No different than, and if you look at what happened after 9/11, for example, they talked about the film industry in New York. Well, to us, agriculture and farming is, it's part of our culture here in Louisiana. And not just our culture, but our economy. Real dollars to real people. And so they got it. They understood it. And I have to give the Housing and Urban Development folks, kudos. They understood it. And they said, go ahead. It's the first time that HUD has ever approved a program this comprehensive for farmers. So it's fantastic.
And it really helped that we were working out of Senator Landrieu's office and had our entire congressional delegation in support, and we worked through all of that process. But also, Governor Jindal and Secretary Rainwater, Director, looking outside the box. And if you look at some things, New Orleans cold storage, again, as he mentioned, and using these dollars, with Gustav and Ike, the $1 billion lost was predominantly in the agricultural sector, in the rural sector. But the LRA has done a tremendous job in the aftermath of these storms, thinking outside the box, moving quickly, and staying on point. And we've had a tremendous working relationship and that we are building upon. And so I want to publicly compliment you and tell you thank you, you and your staff, for everything that you've done, because these are unprecedented things that we are doing together for agricultural and the agricultural industrial complex that we now serve.
Well, I know that the folks of Louisiana are very happy that y'all are working so hard for them. Thank you so much, Dr. Mike Strain.
Thank you.
Paul Rainwater with the LRA. And remember, the deadline is a hard deadline, August 21st at 5 p.m. For more information, you can go to our website, twilatv.org.